There's not a lot of evidence showing that it's a huge benefit to wait X amount of time after you apply a certain product. But there are some benefits for specific products where you might want to do this. Now, in the morning, after you splash your face with water, or if you are cleansing, then, patting your skin dry, leaving it slightly damp is helpful, especially if you aren't using a toner. If you are using a toner, spraying it on, patting it in, and letting it sit on the skin a little bit is helpful. I've already told you that I'm not a huge fan of using a cotton pad with your toner, just because I think it's a waste of product. You're going to be getting a lot more benefit just to spray the toner directly on your skin. Now, don't let it dry on the skin. Keep your skin damp before you apply your next product, which is probably a serum. You've also probably heard me say this, that a wet sponge absorbs more moisture than a dry sponge, and so serums are really helpful to apply on damp skin, especially if it's an oil-based serum. Letting it absorb, sit on your skin for 20-30 seconds can be helpful, just to kind of let it do its thing and get to where it needs to go. You don't have to wait too much longer than that. Some people say a minute, but I mean, that's a long time in between each layer. So I say just 20-30 seconds, kind of let it absorb in, and during that time you can also just help it along by massaging it in slightly, making sure you always remember your neck and your chest area. If you are going to be using a spot treatment, this is the time you'd be doing it after your serum. And that is the case where you do want to wait a little bit of time if you are using a spot treatment. So especially if that spot treatment has some active ingredients that could be sensitizing to the rest of your face. And you also just want to make sure that product is staying on the area that it needs to stay. So I would make sure that if you're using a spot treatment, to let it sit on the skin for maybe a minute, just so that it absorbs in and kind of dries and stays where it needs to stay. If you are going to be applying eye cream goes after your spot treatment, or vice versa. I mean, it's different areas, so it doesn't matter which one. But again, you also might want to let it dry slightly on your skin, because especially if it has, say, like caffeine or some ingredients that could be irritating to the rest of the face, like retinol, caffeine, that sort of thing. When you do apply your moisturizer, you're going to be applying it everywhere. So make sure those spot treatments and the eye cream have been dried, and then apply your moisturizer. This is one where I don't really think you have to wait a whole lot of time. When you are applying your moisturizer, I always do think it's beneficial to spend a little bit of time massaging it around, again, neck, chest, and sure, wait 20 seconds, 30 seconds, just for it to kind of like sink in, because you're going to be applying your sunscreen afterwards. And you don't really want to dilute your sunscreen. So sunscreen is one product that you really do want to make sure it's dry on the skin before you apply your makeup. And sunscreen does require shield protection, especially if you're using a physical sunscreen. It's really just that physical barrier, that block. So you do want to make sure that you have an even distribution on your face. If you're using chemical filters, they do actually need to be absorbed into the skin for it to work. So that is in the case where you do actually need to wait 20 minutes or so before you go into the sun for it to work. But if it's physical, mineral-based sunscreen, just let it dry on the skin before you apply your makeup, and you should be good to go. If you're using an alpha hydroxy acid at night, this is a time when you do want to wait a little bit afterwards. So if you're using, say, a pure and simple lactic acid, that is designed to be used 2 to 3 times per week, and where you wait 5 to 10 minutes afterwards for it to really just work on the skin before you neutralize it with your moisturizer. If you're using a, say, glycolic acid, like the Consonant, that one is designed to be used every day, and you wait 30 seconds to a minute for it to feel kind of tacky on the skin before you put your moisturizer. Waiting a little bit of time, at least a minute, for it to dry on the skin, just allows for the product to sit. It also prevents more irritation, because when you do apply your moisturizer over top, you don't want it kind of spreading in your eyes and areas that you don't want it to go. If you do have other questions, please don't hesitate to comment in the section below and let me know if you have questions about applying products, layering products, or what else you want to know about.